Welcome to Trading Lounge and the indices, and we're looking at the cash market here on a daily chart. And just to map it out briefly, and everything is pretty much on track. We're looking for from wave 4 up to wave 5, and then we'll look into wave 4 that can pull back to the wave 4 of one lesser degree. So we'll see how that plays out, but I'm expecting it to be a little bit shorter. So this one in here was a wave 4, this one here was a wave 4, and as we move through time and space, then the wave 4s of a larger degree get a little bit bigger. So this one is this one, this one is this one. So we can expect this one here to be pretty much 60% bigger than this one here. So I'm not seeing it as a huge move, but still a move within itself. And because the extension in wave 3 here all the way down, that wave 2 here sits on that second bar there. So we've got the extension in wave 3. So normally the Elliott thing is that if the extension's in wave 3, then wave 1 here and wave 5 will be roughly the same, but take that with a pinch of salt. But that does leave us at this medium level here, 65, which is 6,500, and from that point we would look to coming back down here to wherever wave 4 is will be the first sort of bounce, and these tops here would sort of soak up that a bit, and then wave B here for this wave 2, and then sort of a little bit deeper into these sort of supports over here roughly. I'm only just sort of mud mapping it out here for wave 2, and then we can sort of build to the upside at that point. So that's pretty much the general gist of the larger pattern at this particular point. Between wave 4 here and wave 5 here, there'll be 5 waves. So we'll pick it up on the hourly chart or whatever, and we'll take a look at that. But that kind of maps it out a bit. As I mentioned before, once we get to this top here, there'll be a lot of people perhaps considering it like a much bigger top than it actually is. And of course wave 2 here can pull back 61.8% here. It can pull back, well, you know, it can pull back 40 or 60 or 80. It can pull back anywhere basically. So we just need to see what the sort of general sentiment across the markets are, and we'll be able to sort of figure that out too by onboarding other markets, because they all kind of fit together in some way or another. Sometimes they run together and sometimes they don't, and so on, but we figured that out. But yeah, that's the general sort of mapping of it all. Okay, so I'm just going to clear this off here now, and just to let you know that we are building a new website. I'm not sure when it's going to be ready. We're not going to sort of rush it, but we're building a whole lot of analytical tools for the blockchain space, and so we want to rebuild for that, even though we've got a new website. And also too, this Elliott Wave algo charting program that we've got here, with all the AI and algos on it and things, we want to get that sort of operating a bit better as well, and fitting into that new site a bit better as well. And just the other little thing too is one of our analysts, Sammy, is just had twins, so he's going to take a couple of days off. So congrats to Samai on that. And I'll just pull into here a little bit. And we have a new analyst on board now as well, handling US stocks. And we've got Alessio handling 50 of the stocks, and Diran will handle another 50. So we'll be covering Elliott Wave on 100 stocks now. And Diran will also probably pick up the ETF side of things as well in August. So just a few little developments there that are in the wind. So basically from wave 4 here, we're up for wave 5 on this 2-hour chart. We're looking for 5 waves, so 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 here. We'll take a closer look at this in the on the E-minis. So let's just go to the E-minis here. The SPI is basically the same as the cash, but we'll take a quick sort of look at it here. Just going to remove this here. So we're looking for wave 5 up here, of wave 3, of wave 5, plonk that in the middle there. And then wave 4 here, that needs to be, basically, as I mentioned before, this wave 4 needs to be a little bit bigger than this previous wave 4 here. It's not set in stone, it's just, we just paint a general picture, and then we kind of keep working and tweaking in, and then we're what we're looking for really after the completion of this wave 4 is the first little impulse wave to the upside here, so we can trade from wave 4 to wave 5 up here for that. On the E-minis here, this is just the 2-hour chart here, so picking it up from this wave 4 here, going up to wave 5 here, we've got 1 and 2. I thought we had, oh, that's cool. Okay, so yeah, we're looking for 5 waves, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And stocks are obviously confirming all of this. I'm just going to drop it down from 2 hours to 15 minutes here now, and I'm not sure if I've labeled any of this here. Like I have, yep. So first of all, wave 4s can get a little bit tricky. So what I'm saying about that is there's about a dozen different types of patterns that can occur in wave 4. And this particular move that we have up here so far is in 3 waves. So that could also just be an A and a B and a C correction here. And then we could come down as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So then wave 4 could drop in over here and we have a larger A, B and C correction over here. It's quite possible. I don't think it's the case from what I can see with stocks, but I can't rule it out. So if you do see 1, 2, 3 coming down here, then that wave 4 will need to go over there. Otherwise, we can look at this market just counting 5 waves to the upside here. Now, I could count this in a couple of different ways as well, but I'll just leave it like this for the time being. But that's sort of where we are. This 6,300 here, the 300, wherever you see in the number 3, is going to be part of group 1, and this is the top of group 1 here that we're looking at on minor group 1, if that makes any sense to you. I know it's a little bit weird, but yeah, so what we're looking for here is a bit of a classic trading levels pattern really. So based on that, we've got the arrival. If this is 6-3 here, we've got the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, and then we're going to have a larger correction. So in this case, it's going to come down here further. So at the moment, we're about here in the pattern, so we need to sort of push up there a bit. So we've got the arrival here, even though it's above, it's shot up above. Sometimes it's a bit short, sometimes it's on the nose, sometimes it's above, but it's arrived at that number, that price point, and then we have a corrective pattern, and then we have the first high above the level, and then we'll pull back at this point over here. So we'll look at taking some money off the table over here on that. Let's just we've got leverage here, so we're going to take profit. If you don't have leverage on stock, then we're going to be just taking part profit on a lot of the stocks, especially the leading stocks. The followers will be taking money off the top there, but we'll leave 3 or 4 stocks in there that that can hold through that, because we bought them much lower as well. So but yeah, so we'll talk about this next week. We've spent about 2 days here on this, so we've probably got another 3 to go, depending on how these wave 4s play out at this point. Okay, let's have a look at the Nasdaq. So I'll just cut straight to the chase on this. We're on the 15-minute chart. We've got wave 4 here. We're going up for wave 5 of 3 there, and then we're going to have wave 4 here. So basically all we need to do is count 5 waves up through here. I think the futures market on this is actually taken out the top here, or taken out the top here, or the Nasdaq. So it's a little bit unlikely that we'll have this as a B wave up here, but as you know, an expanded flat can be an A and a B taking out the top here, and then having 5 waves down taking the low out here. So it's possible for this to be over here. So that might be something that you need to accommodate. and that could be the case if this low here gets taken out at wave 2 here. But yeah, I think this is a reasonable way to count it rather. So up for 3, 4, 5 for the third, the fourth, and the fifth. Now I could extend the whole thing further up here as well, but I've always take the most conservative view. And this is also at number 3 here as well. So this is also the top of Group 1. So the S&P at 6,300 is minor Group 1, and this is also minor Group 1 here as well. So number 3 is important because it's the fourth strongest number, 1, 5, 8, and then 3. So just bear that in mind. And every single number has a Group 1 and Group 2. So this number here, this will have 1, 2, and 3 as Group 1. So they'll act as the resistance, and the supports down here is Group 2. So it starts at 80 here down to 665. So we're sitting in Group 2 here at the moment. Perhaps I should spend the time on the, so above here we've got Group 1. So this will be subgroup 1 above, and this will be subgroup 2 below here. So basically what I'm saying here is to understand this number here, you have to also understand above it and below it here. So that's basically the swing range, initial swing range across this particular level here in here. So it's good to understand that. But let's move along. We'll just have a quick look at the triple Q here. I don't think I've updated it, but so we've got wave 4 here. Same again, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here, probably the best bet. It's nipped out the high here, but still could be a B wave. We'll see. It looks like it's climbing in the right way. So we'll just see how that plays out. But just have a look at the futures, which is a bit more here. I just want to have a little look at this. Yeah, we're not quite. I can see this as an A and a B and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, or building 1s and 2s here. I have to go with the 1s and 2s at this particular point, but we shall see. But yeah, so basically taking it up here a little bit further. So this will take us up to subgroup 1 of minor Group 1. So this will be somewhere up here, will be important. I'll have a look at the structure when it gets as it sort of moves up there, you know. So yeah, no drama there. So everything really for the, you know, for these markets, for the US markets is on track. Okay, and these patterns that we're looking at here are in line with the majority of the US stocks. Now, I'd cover the video every day, and for the US stocks, and it's got, you know, 8 or 10 stocks in there. So the majority of those, so we're talking the Amazons, the Metas, those sorts of things. This is their pattern, so that's how it all sort of fits together. And of course, there's some wild cards in there. Tesla's doing its own thing, Apple's doing its sort of own thing, and that these sorts of things happen from time to time till they come back into sync or not. But that's where we are. So let's have a look at the European markets, starting with the DAX. Now the DAX has got a slightly different pattern from all the way down below here. We've already got this wave 4 in for the DAX, where we don't have it in line for the S&P. Okay, so they're sort of out of sync, but we're going to be putting them into sync. Okay, so because it's important that we get to this particular top here, this wave 1 here. I can move that out of the way there and just bring these, do a little bit of housework while I'm here on this one. Just move them across a little bit. So basically what we're looking for when the US markets get to their top, which is be this wave 3 here, this minor wave 3, will be at this wave 3 here, right? So that's where that will play out, and that will take, you know, 3 or 4 days to sort of get there. We're looking at the futures here, and from here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2 here, and then we've got this nice move here, which from wave 2 here to wave 3 here, it's really displaying the personality of a third wave. We come up to the 2500 here, and we got to consider we've got to consider group 1 and group 2 below it as the sort of swing range of that 25,000 here, which is a medium level. So I'll be definitely sort of playing out across there. So when the US goes into this particular wave, minor wave 4 here, well then the DAX will go into this wave 4 here, and then we can look for wave 5 to the upside. So, you know, wave 1 took quite some time on this 2-hour chart here, so we'll take some time on this one as well. But basically, at the end of the day, all the markets, the US and the European markets, we want to try to tie them into this wave 1 here. Because obviously whatever happens to create this wave 2 is going to be a little bit, it's going to obviously be sort of political at that point, I'd imagine. But in the meantime here, we're going from wave 2 to wave 3 here. So we've got looking for 5 waves within that particular structure. So between wave 2 and wave 3 here, we're also looking for 5 waves. So I'm just going to drop that into from 2 hours to 15 minutes here, just to bring it in here a little bit closer. So let me get my wave 1 back here. There we go. And we've got wave 1 here and 2 here. And I'm looking at this here being, that should be sitting over there for that. Oh no, it shouldn't. I should be moving that across. Sorry about that. I'll go the other way. That's a little bit better. I'll just check on the cash if you don't mind here, just want to have a little look at the cash market here. I've got 1, 2 here, so pretty much there already on that. Okay, sorry about that. Just take a bit of a wide berth on that. But still, we're heading into this wave 3 here and this wave 4. Now this is good when it occurs in group 2 here. So we talked about the 2500 a little while ago, and we talked about group 1 above it and group 2 below it. And what I like to see over here is I like to see the first consolidation in here, and it's pretty much what we're going to get. A hit on the 72 here, and it's sitting on the 65, and so we should see some sort of consolidation in here. And this is really good, because what happens is that later on this gives the support here. So if we get I'll just dramatize it here. This particular consolidation here, when this pushes up here, wherever it pushes to up here, and it comes back down here, then it's helpful to have that as support there. And then also what it does too is later on with these supports here, it helps support it over here as well for this one. Do you know what I mean? We start to build up. If there's no consolidation here, because when the market moves like this here, it will mirror it back over here. But if we've got a consolidation here and then we build on it here, then we can build on it here, and then later on when it moves up to wave 5 and moves back again, then we've built up even further on it. So we end up building up a really good support here. And this is what I'm talking about here, can happen on in any degree of structure, micro to some humongous, thing as well. Markets just sort of mirror each other, and, it has some sort of memory as humans do. This is humans doing it, as something happened in history and it happens again. Well, then your attention goes back to that point in history, doesn't it? It's anyway, I won't waffle too much. I've got to watch myself. So that's the DAX really. So I think we could pretty much clip the ticket at 2500 here for this at this stage. We can just make that sort of part profit and work that trade. I don't think wave 4 is going to do too much damage at that point. It's always good to take some money off the table, depending on what type of trader you are, at some number that's got zeros on the end of it, you know. So that will be that, and whatever we take off here, we can put back in over here, and we won't really get involved in this one here. So we really want to put that on that little wave 5 of 3 there, and you know, it may go above the level, it may drop a little bit short of it, we'll just see how it goes, but that would be where it is. Then if we're going to put this back in, then we'll do it on this one over here, not so much this one. We could play around with it, but we'll talk about it. But that would be this wave 4 here going up to this wave 5. Okay, so let's have a look at the FTSE. So the FTSE's the same pattern as the DAX. That means that we've got this wave 4 here already, right? So we're building up in this case here. Now, I may need to rearrange this. I've got wave 1 here with wave 2 over here. I could certainly do it differently, but I won't know for sure until we get up here much higher than where we are at the moment. So at the moment, I'm just counting this up here as 1 and 2, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third wave, fourth wave, fifth wave for 1 and 2. I think that's sort of okay at this point. I may need to sort of tweak that as well. Everything is running quite sort of nicely at this point. So we'll just see how that plays out. Just wanted to move that stop up a little bit now. Where are we here? What number are we looking at? 5. No, we've got group 2 as support. We've got group 2 as support. The 8900 here we want as the support. So I don't want to get stopped out. If it does test back down here, I'm going to move it. In fact, I'll just move it now, just back into safety here. That will give me a bit of time because yeah, so I may need to count this a little bit differently here, like putting this wave 1 here over to here, and then look at these as a series of ones and 2s here, and this would be a 3. So this would be wave 1 here with 2 here and 3 here and 4 and 5 moving up. So I'll just say it'll become a little bit clearer up there, but basically we've done all the right things of moving in here at the beginning of the trend, so you're going to be rewarded as we, you know, sort of move up into the medium level here, 9,000. So we'll tweak that. So, you know, it's a little bit like Bitcoin at the moment. It's sort of doing the same thing, and you know, we expected Bitcoin to pop in terms of our wave counts, and that will take, you know, all of those crypto stocks with it as well. So everything is on point at the moment. Let's have a look at the Aussie. Okay, so the Aussie market is the same as the DAX and the FTSE, with meaning that this is wave 4 here, and we're looking at this being wave 1 to the upside here. So we've had these long trades in here. They come from in over here. I've just pushed them out of the way a little bit here. We can continue to build in here because we're building into this third wave over here for this. We'll push that up there a little bit further. This market is lagging, so it's about to pick up some speed now, and you'll probably see that coming from the banks as well, ANZ and CBA and so on. So just keep an eye on those, well, basically the 4 banks. So yeah, so that should sort of push off nicely now. We can move the stop up here a little bit closer, not much though, because I've got to wait for any sort of wave 2 pullback within all of that. But generally speaking, that's all looking pretty good at this point. I need to rearrange this ABC here. That's not the best fit for that. But the main point here, this is a bit of a dog's breakfast, this one, but in a bit of a nutshell, it's lagging the other markets. It needs to pick up, but it's got the same pattern as the Europeans market. So we should be on the right track for this now. So if you're not into this market at the moment, then look to buy new highs or look to the markets that are driving this, which would probably be the banks at this stage, and also the mining as well. I see copper's sort of, you know, making a bit of a move there as well. Alrighty, I'm going to leave it at that and appreciate you tuning in. Thank you. Cheers.